Hello everyone, I am Norm here on behalf of Humber Esports here at Red Bull's AdrenaLAN 2019 in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It's a pretty packed place right now. There's a lot going on. Our Smash Brothers team is here, our League of Legends team is here. Kevin T did a panel earlier. And it's also worth noting that Red Bull gives you wings. Yes, that's right. You heard it here first. Red Bull gives you wings. Not that that actually really has anything to do with anything. Just when I came here, I saw the angel with the wings and I got some B-roll of it. I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to work that in. But you know what? That's not really important. But what is important is I was one of the first people here today alongside one of our Smash Melee coaches, Samuel, and I got a really quick interview with him before he went and got ready for his tournament. So I'm going to just show you guys that right now. So to my understanding, this tournament, I think there was something about 136 Smash Ultimate players, and then the tournament, everyone split into pools of 4. So how does the pool system work?
I do think there's a little bit more than 4 players, but typically how the pool system works is that there is a set number of players, and typically the top 2 of those players go up. So everybody plays against each other, and essentially a round robin, right? But the person in the first, second seed goes on into the bracket, right? And a very infamous thing to happen is that you drown in pools, meaning you either go 0-2 or 1-2, and you don't make it out of your pools, right? That's a big hurdle. A lot of players struggle, and it's often like the big point that a lot of people have a difficult getting over.
AdrenaLAN was the host of C9 Mango's Birthday Bash, a tournament for both Smash Ultimate and Smash Melee. Sam would go on to end up playing on the stage, on stream, to conclude his pool in Melee, but would fall short to a Captain Falcon that would just not fall off the map. Despite falling 0-2, Sam actually outdamaged the Captain Falcon 404 to 394, marking the end of his Adrenaline run.
Nice. Okay.
Okay, well, I'm loving Goon's movement. Oh no, he actually could have just went for the dare straight up.
Yeah, or even just like falling forward there just to continue keeping him off stage is really good against Falcon in particular, because you can just come back on stage and do that. But he still cleans up the edge guard, so...
As for our Smash Ultimate players, I was able to catch some games from Magic and Guts. Magic had some killer Yoshi games, but would ultimately not make it out of his pool. Guts, however, went the furthest of all of our Smash players playing Joker, and I was able to get an interview with him before his next phase of the tournament.
All right, I'm here with our Smash Ultimate player, Guts, who just went a solid, was it 2-1, 3-1?
It was a 3-1.
So, are you allowed to switch characters in between rounds?
You can pick anyone you want. The pick order depends on who won. So let's say I won the first game. That means I have to pick my character first so that my opponent can counterpick me.
Okay, so in every game that I saw you play, you were playing Joker. So why Joker?
Well, Joker is well known to be arguably the best character in this game. That's mostly the reason why I picked him up. Plus, he has this rushdown style that really clicks to me.
Right, so not only is he meta, but he clicks with you really well. That's awesome. So in the most recent match that I watched you play, you actually lost the first map, but then you bounced back. So were you worried at all after that first loss?
After the first loss, I had to get myself together because my mentality was the thing that determines whether or not I would actually get out of pools.
That's awesome to hear. I guess final question, so why the mask?
The mask, it just helps me focus. Like, you know how Light rolls up his sleeves or like Mars wears his pajama pants? That's in the similar vein as to why I wear the mask.
Awesome, so it's just the mask is just, it becomes a part of you, it becomes your identity, and it just helps you get into the zone, is that right?
Yeah.
Right, awesome. Well, thank you very much. Good luck in your next match.
2 p.m. of the day marked the beginning of a sit-down panel with SquadState featuring Humber Esports' student director Kevin Tang as he sat down with other collegiate esports leaders across Ontario to discuss the state of Canada's collegiate esports scene.
Stacked panel here. Why don't you guys give me a little background about what you guys do in your everyday and how you actually got into gaming? I want to know the game that like really pushed you into the world of esports.
Just a really big fan of LOL esports. Just really loved watching it, and thought, how can I get involved in the back end side of how to be a part of all that big scene? So with Humber, I'm mainly similar role as Robert, just doing anything that comes up before me. A lot of the management stuff of the day operations of the teams or the organization itself, helping with the business side or the social media side, as well as a lot of event operations.
Obviously, as a Canadian, you could understand that we feel left behind in the world of esports when you look to somewhere like the States where they have an established structure, they have varsity teams. So do you look to them for inspiration on how to structure your own clubs, and how does that work in terms of trying to play catch up with what's happening there?
I mean, the big thing for all of us that we can all say is that we just have less resources than most American schools at the end of the day. So it's a mix of a downscale and just compensated. So for us, it's because of the lack of resources, a lot of things are in a high risk chance of just restarting year over year as students graduate, because that's a big thing with collegiate. So it's developing consistent student level long-term frameworks, having manuals and such in place, and reporting structures and documentation that students can pass on from one to another as one level graduates and the next batch comes in.
So you guys do a lot of work. That's for sure. One of the things that we didn't really touch on yet, which I want to make sure that we do before we leave, is the players. And how do these clubs actually dedicate their time to growing their players outside of just collegiate esports? Like, how is that relationship long lasting, or how does that work exactly?
Yeah, for us, one of the big things is we try and give our players as much real world experience as possible. So as much close to professional experience as we can. So, for example, we have dedicated training spaces in our school that's built for these guys to be closed door training, try and mirror what a professional job, right, a professional on an esports team would look like, with full support staff helping them through mental and physical training activities, not just inside the game, so doing things outside of game as well. So looking at what the professional world is doing and trying our best to be able to apply that at our level, so that these guys can say that they had all this experience at a collegiate level, so that when they actually go and try and get into an org, they can say, oh yeah, everything you're showing, I've done all of that already. Discord as well as Instagram, it is Humber Esports.
He's got his own fan section out there.
Yeah, Kevin! Go Humber!
A couple of hours later, it was time to witness Guts in his next phase of the tournament, but there was just one problem. In his match to advance to the top 64, the person standing in his way was none other than Team Liquid's Hbox. If you don't know Hungrybox, he's referred to as one of the 5 gods of Smash Bros. Melee. Despite the challenge in front of him, Guts fought hard and even took the first stock over Hbox's signature Jigglypuff before ultimately falling 0-2, showing just how much fight Humber Esports has.
Hungrybox and Guts. Hungrybox took the first game. Pretty convincingly. He definitely knew the Joker matchup, but I feel like game number 2 is the game for improvement. So we'll see what Guts can do here.
True. And Hungrybox, man, he's playing Melee and Ultimate, so being to compete, playing the same character in both games, I respect that a lot.
I do too, man. And there's some pretty glaring differences. I mean, of course, you still got to kind of operate Jigglypuff the same way, but in terms of movement, combo potential, there's some pretty vast differences between both iterations of Jades. But we'll see how it goes. I mean, in the deficit right now, but let's see for how long, because he's been playing pretty well with Guts off stage.
Yeah, and Hungrybox recently with the new patch with the Jigglypuff buffs, he's a new man, bro.
It was around this time I was able to grab an interview with the coach of Humber's Smash Ultimate team, V-Man, to pick his brain on how the team operates. But that can be found in part 2 of our Humber Esports AdrenaLAN experience, so click the video on your screen or follow the link in the video description to find out what V-Man had to say, as well as find out how our League of Legends players did.